Hi there folks, it's Prepper Al here again, and I've mentioned food banks a lot in a few of my past videos now. I've never actually been to a food bank. I'm lucky enough that I've not been in that situation where I've had to use a food bank. However, a female friend of mine has been referred to the food bank and her husband won't go with her. So she's asked me to go with her. Well, he's at work. He doesn't know that I'm going with her. She said, "Don't worry about it, I'll sort it out." The reason he doesn't want to go is because he feels embarrassed, he feels ashamed, he feels it's like stigmatised, that he's poor, the family's in poverty. Well, he's not the only one. He's not the only family who's in poverty. And you know what? This is the scary thing is, he works full time and his wife works flexi time and they've got 2 children. And a full time worker and a flexi time worker, and she works maybe about 16 hours in a week, So full time, 16 hours, you're saying maybe about 50, maybe even 60 hours of work each week, and they're getting referred to a food bank. How many other people are like that in this country? And I'm sorry to this gentleman, but he should not be feeling embarrassed. He should not be feeling ashamed. He should not be feeling stigmatised. It's not his fault. This is just the situation our country is in now. We are in Tory poverty or super austerity Britain. This past decade has been absolutely evil. I think he feels like he's a failure of a man, a failure of a husband, a failure as a parent, as a dad. I'm sorry, no, you've not failed your family because your family need to go to a food bank. You failed your family because you've let your wife do it on her own. This is just the reality of Britain at the moment. In work poverty. Even if you're not working, you've still got a right to eat. You need to feed yourself, you need to feed your family, and when push comes to shove, you have to do what you have to do to feed yourself, clothe yourself, and feed and clothe your family. Now, we went to the food bank today, and it was quite busy, and you don't get food bank tickets nilly-willy. You have to go to certain places to be assessed, then you get referred. And depending on your circumstances, so my female friend, she's got a 4-ticket referral, which means she's eligible to use the food banks on 4 separate occasions over the next 6 months. It might be different for other people. And we went down there today, and I'm very impressed at what those volunteers do. And I'm very, very impressed at the actual supermarkets, the amount of food, Asda, Lidl, Aldi's, Tesco's send so much food down there, it's amazing. So hats off to the retailers for doing that. You remember a number of years ago how there was a big scandal about the amount of food that got wasted, about the supermarkets throwing out food, crates and crates of food. There's a big scandal, and now that's getting redistributed to where it needs. Now, I'm a chatty person, as you know. I like to ask questions, I like to find out information, I like to propose questions, I like to talk. So I asked the lady, I said, "So are you busy today?" She's like, "Yeah, busier than usual." And she rattled off a few things to me. She said, "Aye, we're getting busier and busier." And I said to her, "What is it? Why are people coming to food banks?" She said to me, "Universal credit." She said, "Universal credit." Then I did some fact checking, So this year, referrals to the Trussell Trust food banks has increased by 19%. but 52% of that is universal credit. It's people coming here, I'm on universal credit, I'm getting sanctions, I'm not getting my money that I need, that they said that I was entitled to, I'm behind on my rent, council tax, I've got no food. And that's what it is, it's food. It's food. And you've got some other dry stuffs like toiletries, feminine hygiene. You know, they're talking about period poverty, but it's fucking just, pardon my French, it's just fucking poverty, Britain. The United Poverty Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, or Northern Ireland. That is what we are now. Does anybody feel as though we're back in fucking Ebenezer Scrooge times, Victorian times, Dickensian times? Workhouses, poverties. You know, this is ridiculous. About when the credit crunch happened about 2008, people were saying, oh, back to the Great Depression. Hey, we're fucking way beyond the Great Depression. Philip Hammond said there's no more unemployment in Britain. Philip Hammond said that universal credit is not to blame for the increased use of food banks and poverty. That is absolute nonsense. Conservative Tory bastards, head in the sand. I've made other YouTube videos about that, so subscribe, check out my videos. If you want, it's up to you. But I'm just saying, what a joke. It's universal credit is driving austerity. Universal credit is driving poverty. This is super austerity. We are supposed to be out of this economic recession. We are supposed to be making more jobs. The type of jobs it is, it's part-time work, it's 0 hours contract work. They're talking about national living wage. National living wage is just a rebranded minimum wage. Minimum wage, 0 hours contracts, and if you're lucky for a part-time contract. And I've said in other videos, and this is how the local authorities calculate full-time employment. It's 27, 28 hours, and then you're in full-time employment, and that's because they use that to give you assistance or not to give you assistance with, like, say, rent benefit and council tax benefit. You know, but universal credit poached the housing benefit from the local authorities. So guess where your council tax is going? I don't know where your council tax is going. But it's the cost of living. It's your rent, your mortgage, gas, electricity, food. You've got a 14-year-old daughter and you can't afford tampons. That's fucking ridiculous. It's not that you can't afford them. You've not got the money. It's like, where does it come from? If you're working 40 hours, if your husband or your wife is working 40 hours and you're working 20 hours, that's 60 hours. And you're still needing a food bank, then that says it all. The Conservative thinks that lower working class people and now middle class people, you know what, they think we're all just spending our money on beer and fags. That's what they think we're spending our money on. That's why they don't want to give people benefits that really do need them. They'll just spend it on beer and fags. And no, we'll spend it on bloody pasta and sauce and rice, gas, electricity. I'm going on a little bit of a man rant here now. Point of the video is this: if you need to go to a food bank, get referred to a food bank. You need to feed yourself, you need to clothe yourself, you need to feed and clothe your children. End of story. Do not feel embarrassed, do not feel ashamed, do not feel stigmatised. The economy that you are living in now, this wasn't done by us. It wasn't even done by Labour or Bill Clinton. Like, this is going back in the day to the whole credit crunch thing. The life that we are living now, the country that we are living in, is super austerity, poverty Britain. Created by the Tories and the Liberal Democrats and furthered by the Tories and the DUP. This is the life we live now. The shit has already hit the fan. It hit the fan when David Cameron got into power and George Osborne was the Chancellor. Ian Duncan Smith was No, what was he? Department Working Pensions, yeah. Aye. I got a shock when I went to that food market today, folks. I got a shock. And I think that I'm in tune with British politics and the way our society is now, but I got a shock today. I knew that life was bad out there for people. I know it is, life is bad out there for you guys, for a lot of people. And hey, I'm not that great well off either. I'm a prepper, so, but there may come the day, but I will, if I need to, I will be there. Do not be ashamed, do not be embarrassed. Do what you got to do. The life that we live is not our fault. We're living in Tory austerity, super austerity Britain. Poverty Britain, created by the Tories, the Lib Dems, not the current Lib Dems, but Nick Clegg and his friends. It will change, it will get better. Maybe for our grandchildren. But then again, they might be all living underwater, so I don't think there is a silver lining. Nah, there is a silver lining. Keep your chin up, think positive, always remember this is not your fault, and just do what you have to do to make sure that you and your children aren't hungry. Right, anywho, this is Prepper Al. Please subscribe, check out my other videos. Thanks for tuning in, and today was very interesting. Right, bye bye.